Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So, how's everybody doing today? It's happy hour.
Hey.
All drinks are 2 for 1 during this chat.
Yeah. So how things been for you?
Actually pretty good. I was very productive last night. Unfortunately, I seem to only be able to be productive between midnight and sunrise, so I got a lot done, but then I only got 3 hours sleep.
Yeah. I've not been very productive this week. With Monday, the temperature dropped about 20 degrees overnight, and that just kills my energy.
Yeah, I heard that Florida was having falling iguana warnings again.
Yep.
So they are an invasive species. They're not acclimated to that climate very well.
Yeah, they are an invasive species.
Yeah.
Then again,
So,
most of the stuff around here is an invasive species.
yeah, unfortunately, you've got the iguanas and you've got the I forget which kind of snakes it is that you got there.
I forget which one it was as well.
Yeah, but you got some kind of snake that is growing big enough to be competition for the alligators.
Oh yeah, those. Which one was that? Pythons.
Yeah, it's some kind of python. That's right. So yeah, that's they found an instance of one. They found one dead because apparently it had been trying to eat an alligator and choked to death in the process. So they found a python with the back half of an alligator sticking out of it.
Yeah, sounds like Florida.
Yeah. Whereas up here again, we had a couple of days that was around freezing. And we're back up to, we're going to be in the 50s for the rest of the week.
Yeah, it looks like the temperature's gonna go back up here.
Yeah, well, we technically had our first snowfall, but it wasn't even enough to stay on the ground. It just kind of, I could see in the middle of the night that there was snow on the cars, but as soon as the sun came up, it was all gone. And that's not right. We should have some proper snow here. We probably shouldn't be seeing grass. It is, however, drunken squirrel season. So I did see a squirrel staggering and having to make 4 attempts to climb a tree. That's the first 3 times he got about a foot off the ground and just dropped. So yeah, they're chewing on the fermented pumpkins.
So
huh?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to be on topic here, what's your favorite drink?
Let's see here. Lately my favorite is Tullamore Dew honey. It's an Irish whiskey.
Yeah, I should pick up some and try that. It sounds like something I might like. I've gotten some interesting flavored whiskeys over the years. There's a lot of them I don't care for, but there's been some good ones. I forget what the brand was, but I had one not long ago that was a vanilla whiskey. I'm still looking for a decent hard cider, and they just don't seem to be available in America anymore. And that was the thing, that there were 2 of them I liked. I think they were both imported. I think one of them actually came from the UK, or at least was originally a UK product that they licensed to someone, and one of them came from Canada. But have not been able to find either of those in the whole time that I've been living back in Minnesota. Yeah. So most of the time I just go back to Windsor Canadian whiskey. It's a blended Canadian whiskey, and usually just mixing that with ginger ale. Also good to squeeze a lemon or a lime into it.
Did not. Let's see here. Trying to see if I'm getting an echo from you.
Oh, sorry, I've got the wrong speaker settings here. There we go. I had it still on my main speakers instead of in my headset.
Ah. Huh.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. I wonder why it's showing as if it's still in stock. I'm looking at the Kraken Black Spice Rum Black Label. It was my favorite rum, and they discontinued it.
Yeah, rum is the one I can't have. Just because my sugarcane allergy seems to carry through to that. I will basically get a hangover from rum, even if I only have one. Now, I heard that in Africa they make rum from pineapples, and I'd like to try some of that.
I've had pineapple rum before.
Okay.
It's pretty decent.
Again, I haven't seen it in the stores around here.
It's pretty easy to find.
But, yeah. I love pineapple, so should be agreeable.
Yeah, it definitely has a pineapple flavor to it.
That's good. Some of them, it's like they've tried a couple of, even the Windsor Canadian that I like. They've tried a couple of flavors with that. One of them was supposed to be apple, and I didn't taste any apple in that. I forget what the other one was. I think it was supposed to be some kind of berry flavor.
Currently, the other one I have here is the Kraken Gold Spice Rum. It's okay. The regular Kraken rum is a little bit strong. It has a bite to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I like the Black Label. It has the same flavor as their regular blend, but it's not as strong.
There you are.
Hi, gang.
I'd been wondering because I saw that you had showed us out a couple of places. So I knew you had to be lurking about somewhere.
Yeah, I was working on some stuff around the house. I had well, when I cook, I do like a big vat of stuff, and then pack it in individual serving containers and stash all that stuff in like a stand-up freezer in the garage. And that ran a little over the time I thought it would.
Yeah, well,
I've run into that too. I do the same thing. I am simply incapable of cooking for less than a half dozen people.
Yeah, kind of like my grandparents.
Yeah, so living alone, I bought one of those, vacuum sealers that I can, put it into plastic bags and seal them and freeze stuff.
And again, my grandparents were used to cooking for like 24 people as a common thing. So,
yeah, well, I grew up just, in my house when I was growing up. It was always 12, 15 people for dinner. Because we had 11 of us just in the family, and then we had a couple of foster brothers, and somebody usually had a friend over, so I was always, you had to make sure there was enough for at least a dozen.
Yep.
And that's how I learned to cook. So it's like I can't make small batches anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to scale down from that.
Yeah, so I just had to come up with a way that I could put some away for later. So, before I get tired of it, I can put it away and I can, bring some out again next month.
Yeah, I'm slowly trying to clean out my fridge some so I can make room for Thanksgiving stuff.
Yeah, that was one of the things I accomplished last night. Was I got my fridge cleaned out to the point that I actually was able to take out the shelves and drawers and, go take those in the shower to clean them out. Get all the stuff that had, spilled or leaked onto the shelves washed off. Which, it's been over a year since I actually got the fridge to that point, got everything cleaned off, so there was some unidentifiable sticky stuff on one of the shelves.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yep. Yeah, packages leak. So anyway, unfinished, we were, since it's happy hour, we were starting out with, what's your favorite alcoholic drink?
So, my parents were both teetotalers, and it took me a while into my adult years to kind of, to sample different kinds of booze and find things that I liked. Like, I don't like beer at all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've never had taste for beer.
Neither have I.
Yep. Probably the thing that I've done the most experimenting with has been eggnog. I've got a recipe that was in The Joy of Cooking, which was a cookbook that my mom liked a lot.
Yep.
And
I'm familiar with it.
Yep. And I got to a point where for Christmas I would make 2 batches of that, one with booze and one without, so I could take it to a family function and grown-ups and kids alike can have some.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used bourbon. I've used Bailey's.
Bailey's is good.
Yeah, and traditionally, I think a traditional ingredient that you're supposed to use in eggnog is brandy. I've never tried that.
Yep. I actually don't usually add any alcohol to my eggnog. Like, I'll usually buy the store brand stuff around here, and I will go through about 5 to 10 gallons a year.
Hey, Molly. Wow. Yeah, I like eggnog. I've never tried to make it myself. I just, buy the carton stuff from the store. Bailey's is good in it. The other thing I like, on cold nights is a cup of hot cocoa with a shot of Bailey's.
Yeah. Well, usually I'll sprinkle in a little bit of nutmeg on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would use a blend of nutmeg, cinnamon, and allspice.
Mm. Sounds tasty. None of that pumpkin spice stuff. Even though the 3 you just listed are probably in pumpkin spice.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, definitely nutmeg. Now, would pumpkin spice, would she be the 5th or 6th Spice Girl?
Yeah, sure. Depends how many you're at.
Everything's pumpkin spice nowadays. You have pumpkin spice condoms.
Yeah, Molly's saying that Slothgirl's son made some really good stuff last year. And
so I was mentioning in the DM group, about my idea about setting up getting some food together for a food pantry.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good thing that there's a lot of people. Well, unfortunately, with the economy, there are more people needing it than ever.
Yeah, apparently we're going to have might have even rougher time with pasta too.
Yeah, I heard about that. That Trump is putting some ridiculous more than 100% thing on Italian pasta.
Yep.
So what has Italy done to piss them off?
Oh, they got some bullshit. So they've been colluding to outprice us. This in the U.S. So they're going to put 105% tariff on pasta from Italy, and that's going to make it less prohibitive. So they're just going to pull out of the market here.
Yeah. Well, that's Trump's claim. I think at this point, Trump just is upset over any country that has a functional government.
So basically, everybody.
Well, everybody but the UK.
Mm.
The UK's not doing a whole lot better than we are. Now, see, Canada just happens to have, things in place so that can't go that far off the rails.
Well, it's not yet.
Well, basically, their prime minister had such a vote of no confidence that they had to do a special election. Because the majority party was just pissing everybody off. So somehow it triggered a special election, so everybody got a chance to change the majority party. Yeah, it wasn't really, I don't think, a general election of the whole populace. It was just, basically like their Congress electing a new leader.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still the Liberal Party that's in charge, but the change that satisfied people was changing from Trudeau to Carney.
Yeah, well, they did have. There was something in there that could have changed to a different party, but that's just the way it shook out.
And PP, purposefully or otherwise, kind of tanked that idea.
Yeah.
And he was so busy being a Trump wannabe that most of Canada was like, oh, hell no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, well, he started pushing some very Trump-like economic policies, and they were saying that this doesn't help anyone.
Another idea I had with collecting food is maybe setting up something on Amazon, and so people on the internet can send in some food. I don't know about that though. If I did something like that, I'd probably want to record delivering the food so everybody knows that it got delivered where it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could just, if you needed to, you could just, record on your phone, you're driving up to the place, and you could just play a clip here in the stream.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, it's good for you that, you know, you're thinking of other people and that you're able to help others out a bit.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at what they have on Amazon. They have the Campbell's Chunky soups. Those are really good. Those I use as hurricane supplies myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I could maybe put a few of those onto a list and share the list out, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And anybody who wants to, they can buy whatever's on the list and send it over. And I can just bring it over to the pantry.
Yeah, well, like you say, you can do it as an Amazon wish list thing.
Yeah.
So anybody can order them through that.
Oh, just an idea.
Yep.
Although I have heard people that volunteer with soup kitchens say that they would prefer to receive cash as opposed to food.
Yeah.
Because the soup kitchen has enough buying power that they can negotiate better prices than individuals.
Yeah, I know, but I thought about that. I thought it'd be just to be a little bit safer to send food instead of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on the off chance that
Yeah, the biggest food shelf I know of around here, basically all the grocery stores donate all their stuff that's like within a couple of days of expiring, a couple of days of going past the date on the package, which isn't really expiring. Usually the stuff is, fresh and usable for well beyond that. I mean, even stuff like the bagged salads, they're still good for, a week or two past that date. But I'm sure that, the stores get a tax write-off for donating it to charity, and then the food shelf can distribute it to whoever needs it. So, it's like I know that we posted the link out there, but for some reason, we're okay. There's Tsunami. Oh, Tsunami, I've done that. I've plugged the charging cord into my phone and not realized that the other end of it wasn't attached to anything. Yeah, but I'm, kind of wondering where even our regular people are today.
See, when you sent it out, did you remember to put it on Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got here.
Okay. On Discord.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, that's we got it posted on Discord, on Blue Sky, and on Twitter. So, every place it normally goes for our regulars to see it. Oh, so Mommy says they got raptured.
Okay, that explains it.
Well, so they're rapturing the atheists on us now?
Well, that makes sense.
Well, it kind of sucks if I'm going to be left down here with the Christians.
Mm.
I was looking forward to them taking all the Christians away, and, then that would make life so much easier around here. Because the Christians are the only ones I see trying to push the religion on anyone else. I mean, we've got a lot of Somali Muslims here, and I don't see them doing that. Sorry, Molly. Yeah. Not all Christians are pushing it.
Yeah,
So it's one of those cases that it's not all Christians, but when it happens, it's a Christian.
Yeah, my brother and my sister-in-law are Christians also, and yeah, they're the good kind. Yeah, very supportive and affirming.
Well, yeah, my bestie Molly, she takes the kids to church every Sunday and all. Okay, and there's heathen Granny. But she knows where I am on religion. We just, we don't talk about it much. But she knows where I'm at, and she's okay with me watching her kids
and corrupting their fragile, little malleable minds. No.
Well, that's what YouTube is for, so that we don't have to do it ourselves anymore.
Oh, well, that saves time.
Yep. And her and her son come over. They watch my cats anytime I'm out of town. Oh, which the next occasion for that will be in February. It's my next convention. That's kind of the North. That's my favorite one because it is completely volunteer run. They've been going over 30 years and they refuse to take any company sponsorship. They have like local shops and that, can rent tables to hawk their wares there, but they don't take anyone actually sponsoring them.
Yeah. Well, seeing we're just talking about Christians, this might be a good segue.
Okay.
For this little
Who's
video.
This?
Okay, so I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby, and I had a lot of requests to call another mega church. So I'm calling Abundant Church.
So she's calling
Texas.
And so she's contacting some mega churches here.
So I'm going to call to see if they would help feed a starving baby.
Let's skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so she's got a fake baby plate.
Hey, yes, I was going to see if there's any way y'all could help with a can of baby formula. I have a 2-month-old and I ran out last night, so she's gone all night and all day without anything to eat.
Unfortunately, the food pantry is only available on Sundays, and I don't know if we have any baby formula at the moment.
Okay. Is it something that you all can get and I can just pick it up or something?
Well, there's nobody at the food pantry.
Okay. You don't have a pastor that can get it?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question. We don't have like food products for babies. We only have for older people like canned foods and noodles and stuff like that available.
Actually reminds me, the food pantry I'm looking at donating to. I want to find out if they take baby goods and other things besides from food too.
Yeah. Well, the biggest one I know of here is actually run by Catholic Charities.
Yeah, I noticed the one I was looking at is connected to the Catholic church my grandmother used to go to when she was around. I'm not sure how deeply connected they are, but
yeah. Okay. Well, and this one,
I'm just...
in addition to the food stuff, they also have like a separate area. That they take donations of clothing and basic household supplies.
Yeah, I want to look into it. I actually found that this place is actually almost right down the street from me. Like I could almost walk there.
But... Just curious though, are you all a pro-life church?
I mean, if you like, I can go ahead and take your information, and you're more than welcome to ask a pastor those information.
Actually, no. I actually don't even have a baby. This is actually just a social experiment to see which churches would actually help feed a hungry baby that hasn't ate all night.
And they hung up.
But I don't know that I blame them.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, I called you under false pretenses. Bye.
Well, no, there's more to this. So this experiment ran on a bunch of times and tested a bunch of
Latest
things.
update: mosques, 100%.
So
Buddhist temples, 100%.
okay, so she contacted mosques and Buddhist temples, or somebody did, or doing a similar experiment, and 100% of the mosques contacted said, "Yeah, we'll help." 100% of the Buddhist temples was contacted, "Yes, they'll help."
Christian churches. We're talking denomination. She has called 33 Christian churches. How many have said yes and are willing to help a baby, a 2-month-old in need? 9. What's that percentage? 27%.
Okay, so 100% for mosques, 100% for Buddhist temples, 27% for churches.
Yeah. Well, and I can
Everywhere
understand
else.
if they have a regular food shelf, they might not necessarily have baby formula, but seeing as what she's calling seems to be kind of an emergency situation, you would think that there'd be somebody at the church who could manage $20 to buy a can of baby formula.
Oh, and here's another. Pregnancy centers, 100%.
Was 100% yeses, we will help you. What does that say about our country? What does that say about the world? 9 out of 33 churches across the U.S. pro-life and
Well, Christian churches specifically.
Well, also, they're not pro-life, they're just pro-birth.
Yeah.
pro-choice. What does that say about these churches and the people that are there and the people who are giving to these churches and the people who told her no? Methodist, Baptist, Catholic, Christian churches. 9 out of 33 were willing to help.
Yeah.
And
It
since
does
you
make a point.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that she didn't mention any Jewish temples.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't cover that one either. That'd be an interesting comparison. Since you mentioned,
Also, I'm kind of curious what the sample size is on the Buddhist temples and Muslim mosques.
yeah, I'd have to dig into this a little bit more. That's all I could really find at the moment.
Yeah.
I also found
Okay.
this thing. This is
I
wanting
like
a child.
the sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wanting a child born is pro-birth. Wanting a child fed, housed, educated, and with parents who earn a living wage is pro-life.
Yeah, put that one up on the Twitter group so I can repost it.
Yeah.
Yep, Heathen Granny is trying to retreat to Mexico. I can get that.
Mm.
Sumami says it's a big thing in Buddhism. And yeah, I think just kind of the central tenets of Buddhism, put a lot stronger focus on being charitable to the poor. Yeah, that's Sumami says you're supposed to feed people who ask for food for Buddhists or Hindus.
Same with Sikhs.
Yeah, now see, I don't know anything at all about like the different divisions of Muslims. I don't know what makes any of the divisions unique from the others.
I can't access the group.
You can't.
Communities, maybe. What? No.
Just going under.
It's giving something went wrong, but don't fret. It's not your fault. When I try and it won't open up the groups, and I go to chat, and it just takes me to their new chat system.
Yeah, now it just did that to me too. Because just a minute ago, instead of chat, it said messages.
And I just posted a picture in the chat.
Okay, and yeah, now it's
talking about the Twitter group chat.
Yeah.
I hope they didn't just get rid of the messages.
Okay, well, when it comes up with the chat, it comes up with a screen, meet the new chat, and it says set up now or maybe later. And then when I click on maybe later, then it brings me back to the regular messages thing.
Oh, okay. I'll try maybe later then.
But yeah, that did literally change since we started the stream.
There we are. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't there when we started the stream. So in the
That's
last half hour, they've just activated that.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah,
So there's the picture.
Okay.
Elon Musk fucking up his platform again.
Yep. Okay, Matthew is saying the main division within Islam are the Sunnis and the Shia, which diverged over the succession of the Prophet Muhammad. Other divisions include Libadi. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that middle one.
Ahmadiyya would be my guess.
Ahmadiyya. Something like that. Sorry, I'm butchering the pronunciation.
My guess would be Ahmadiyya.
Yeah, I have no idea how you pronounce the end of that it's, 2 Y's in a row, which effectively gives you 4 vowels in a row there, and it's like, that doesn't happen in English. I have no reference point for that. Okay, the groups share core beliefs but differ in their interpretation of the Islamic law, theology, and the role of leadership.
Ahmadiyya.
Okay, Ahmadiyya.
There we are.
Well, sure, it sounds easy when the computer does it.
Yeah.
Well, how well does the computer know Arabic, though?
Thinking.
But I don't know about Arabic, but it's been pretty good about other languages I've tried.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to pronounce some of the names in the Chronic Argonaut from H.G. Wells' book. It had some Welsh names in it, and even after I played it like that and tried to repeat it, I still couldn't pronounce the damn thing.
Well, Welsh is another matter entirely. At one point, as a research project, I tried to learn a bit of Welsh, just because it was, for a character in one of my stories. And there are just definitely some unique phonics in there that do not occur in the English language, to the point that the book couldn't really explain them. It more had to explain the position you had to try to put your mouth and tongue in order to pronounce them.
So you pull your tongue out of your mouth, and you twist it in a 90-degree angle.
Now, one of them was something like, roll your tongue back until the tip of your tongue hits the back of your mouth. Then slide your tongue forward and purse your lips.
Okay.
And that was one of the vowel sounds that an O is supposed to make.
No, an O is not supposed to make that sound.
Yeah, well, I think it was more a matter of that, that there are letters in their alphabet that are not in English.
Yeah, there's languages and their phonemes can be interesting.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, but I am glad for the Google stuff to pronounce it.
Yeah,
and from as much as I've tried, the Google stuff seems to do pretty well with the Nordic languages and with Swedish. And I was playing with it with Dutch for a while.
Yeah,
Okay, I think Samami's got it. One of the vowel sounds is an O is supposed to make. And yeah, maybe that's the problem, that maybe some of the sounds you're not supposed to make with your mouth, but maybe they come out better from the other end.
Yeah. There we go.
Hey,
yeah,
Tammy.
I remember when I was still a believer, and I was active with the Latino ministry at the church I went to, and I was in charge of putting English and Spanish lyrics on the screen side by side, and I noticed when I used Google Translate that it would get the gist of the Spanish reasonably well, but stuff that was specific to a religious context, it didn't really get that. Like the way one would say the Lord in Spanish is El Señor, which Google Translate would render as the Sir. No.
Yeah, it also doesn't do cursing very well.
Yeah, well, with the Swedish and Dutch, at least I've know some people online that I was able to run it by them and see if they thought it got right. People who that was their native language. So they said that the computer did a pretty fair job of it. Yeah, actually, I play with languages a lot, and that's for the novel I'm writing now. I've got like 5 different alien species that all come from different planets. So I'm trying to have bits of their languages, but just the idea that they all evolved completely independently. So
yeah,
the languages will have nothing in common.
Yeah, I had sort of an idea for how they would have a universal translator. It's sort of this floating orb that translates all sorts of ways. So regardless of how they communicate, the orb can translate it.
Yeah, well, that's it. I've got just technology. Just they each have computerized translators to basically translate any vocal sounds.
Well, as I said,
can translate into any language that the computer's been programmed for.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Not all the species I had thought of uses vocal sounds.
Yeah.
For instance, I had one, and that actually communicates through a sort of a organic radio frequency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, one of them in mine is an aquatic species. So she doesn't use sound at all, and all of her communication is in patterns of light.
Yeah, something like that. So the device I came up with would be able to translate that.
Yeah, that her species just has a natural bioluminescence that, like, 2 of their tentacles, they can actually change the colors of the light, and that's their main communication.
The underwater or verbal communication would work.
Yeah, well, it works for whales. And actually, that researchers are saying that like sperm whales do have a definite language. That it's not just single sounds or anything, but when they've been studying it, there is an actual language structure that they're effectively making sentences, using the same sounds in different orders and things, that they're actually constructing sentences.
So I've had a fictional critter that I've had in mind for a while that has like 4 independent larynxes, and so they can effectively, one being can effectively communicate, can sing in chords.
So one performer singing 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
I also like to try and think of, the reasons why this might evolve. And
yeah.
Yeah, that's that I haven't come up with a plausible mechanism yet.
Yeah. Well, one of the other ones I have is it is sound, but it's all subsonic sounds, very low frequency that we wouldn't be able to hear, because mostly they're used to, rather than hearing things through the air, of just sensing vibrations through the ground. Which, by the way, elephants are known to do. But so basically, their whole language is basically by, creating patterns of vibrations in the ground, which allows them to communicate with others that can be several miles away.
Here's an idea for your species. He's unfinished. The different lyrics could it have to do something to do with mating?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that could be, like songbirds that...
Frogs, songbirds.
Yeah, the one that sings the prettiest song gets the most mates.
So it could be a sexual selection thing.
Mm-hmm. And there have definitely been some animals that sexual selection has overruled anything to do with survival. I mean, look at the peacock.
Yeah.
That huge tail he's got to carry around is definitely a liability trying to get away from predators.
Yeah. Unless the predator just finds the tail, too annoying. I was like, well, yeah, there's some good meat on those bones, but those feathers just get in the way.
Actually, for another story, I had a dragon that had that, when they spread out their wings, the pattern was so dazzling that was kind of hypnotic, so it prevented things from attacking them from the back.
Yeah, there's another use for it. Maybe it has certain frequencies are good for driving off predators.
Yeah. Or, maybe it's for mimicking other species, either to attract prey or, again, it could be like imitating the sounds of a large predator to keep the smaller predators away.
Or any combination of these ideas.
Yep. Often overlap.
Yeah, so he could be, he could be saying, hey baby, how you doing? Out of one side of his mouth, and saying, hey, back off, bucko, out of the other side of his mouth. Literally.
That could actually work. Have a species that have it first as a deterrent for predators, and then it gets co-opted as a sexual selection mechanism.
Yeah. Actually, cuttlefish. That not only can they, change their color and actually even the texture of their skin, but they can split it down the middle of their body. So sometimes a smaller male will swim between the larger male and the female. And on the side facing the larger male, it will make itself appear to be a female, so the male doesn't feel threatened. But the side facing the female, it indicates that it is a male trying to court her.
Yeah, it's kind of like another species I was working on. And they develop a color changing thing in their body. These help with heat regulation. But that's also story also developed further into some of the forms of their communication.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Yep. Bifurcate. Okay, I didn't know the word for it. Yeah, actually, in one of my older stories, I had one like that. Basically they had developed a natural radiator for expelling excess heat, and that as they evolved, they learned how to manipulate that so that they could actually communicate in heat patterns.
Not so much communication, more like displays of their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get angry, they get more of a red color to them, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, this species I thought of was evolved in a tropical area, so sweating wasn't really going to be an efficient way of getting rid of heat in that kind of climate.
Yeah. Well, the ones I had that were communicating in patterns of heat, had a downside. That in one instance, one guy startled one of them and it screamed and basically burned all his clothes. So, Mommy, you looking for a new vacuum? I also had one that had a case of a very dedicated linguist, who came from Earth and wanted to communicate with this one species, but in order to do so had to undergo multiple surgeries to actually have his palate reshaped and his tongue split so it was forked.
Yeah, I've been listening to the audiobook for the time ships, and they've encountered a species of nanites, and they're having to communicate by actually connecting themselves to like a tether of these nanites. It's right through their brain.
Yeah, a lot of sci-fi things have shapeshifters, and I was trying to figure out any way that would work. And the only concept for a shapeshifter I thought of that might work is if it's not really a single organism, but if it was like a colony of nanites.
Yeah, it's kind of how the changelings are in Star Trek.
I never watched Deep Space Nine long enough to find out much about them.
Yeah, they're trying to describe how many are there was the question. Well, that depends. When you have a drop, that's one. And the drop merges with the whole.
Mm-hmm.
So how many are there? One or many, depending on how you look at it.
Yep. And also just cultural things about language. Like one of mine just always speaks in the plural, that they don't have a concept of being alone it's like never happened to anyone in their culture. So, I was playing with that being interesting of, that one got, captured or stranded. So it wound up being alone for a couple of years and was completely freaked out and didn't even know how to communicate this concept to the others when he got back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working on my own concept for the Greys, your standard big-headed, big-eyed aliens.
Yeah.
And what I thought of is they have a crystalline. I took all the stuff from various concepts from that I found online for these things, but they have a crystalline structure or lattice in their brains, and they communicate by resonating that structure with this sound, with like ultrasound. But the only thing is, when they're trying to communicate with, if they're using their own language around humans, it will cause like vertigo or headaches and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm not sure what zooids are.
A zooid is an animal that is part of a colonial animal.
Oh, okay. Sumami, as far as vacuum cleaners, the one I have is oh shoot, now I forget what the label on it was. I forget the brand. I'd have to go look at it.
If you start hearing Molly grunting and growling, that's because she's getting playful.
Yep. I have both of the kitties with me. I think part of it just has to do with the season.
Yeah.
The cats tend to get, a bit more clingy as the weather gets cold.
She's insistent that I play with her right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, it's not like you're doing anything. You're just sitting there talking to yourself.
Yeah. Okay, this is funny. Let me see if I can get a picture of this. Don't move. Oh, you're gonna move. Of course you move as soon as I grab the camera.
I was watching a YouTube video last night, and it had they were talking about the sounds that otters make, and just listening to the otters on the TV was driving Ethan nuts. And I wasn't prepared for that one because, like, anytime I'm watching videos that have a cat in them, I know I have to do it with the headphones on.
Yeah, I was trying to get a picture of it. She has this remnants of a plushie that she plays with. It's almost basically a chewed up rag at this point, but she had that over her face and just sitting there with her head up with the thing over her face.
Okay, Brian says people are that way too. The colder it is, the more comfortable they are with contact. So is that a general rule I can use with humans? I'm still trying to figure this out. And I could do with some closer contact with a human. It has been too many years since I have had that. Oh, we are back. Yeah, there's a local group here that actually I had like the people running it, and therefore a number of the people in it I had known when I lived in St. Paul. So, 15 years ago. And since I've also transitioned now, that I very much doubt they would recognize me, even if any of them remembered me. But I found out that they're doing monthly socials at a club here, so I've been thinking I should get over to that, and be a chance for me to actually meet some people and maybe get a date. But I've also been watching a bunch of YouTube things about, yeah, trans women have some unique problems dating.
What else we got here?
Never used any of them. Mine has done a good job for a lot of years. Now, I'm not sure if that's applying to the vacuum cleaners or to people. Since it immediately followed the post that people are that way, the colder, the more comfortable. And Tsunami just responded that's because we're less sweaty, so. Oh, Cosmic Kyle, have not seen you around for a while.
Hi, Kyle.
Yeah, the being sweaty, he's supposed to come after we're being close. After wow.
Yeah. Well, and Brian Stevens is right about this, that more babies are conceived in the cold months.
I heard there were a lot of babies conceived during the lockdown with COVID.
Yeah, there were also a lot of divorces conceived during the lockdown for COVID. Some people were realizing that when they had to spend all day with them, they really couldn't stand their partner. Oh, crap. My nail clipper's falling down. I can't find it now. Oh, you got some good pictures of the Northern Lights? I would love to see those. I had seen the Northern Lights from Michigan. When I was growing up, I saw them twice. But yeah, the last time I saw them was like 10 years ago. Sloth Girl had never seen them, and that was one of the things that I was trying to, trying to take a trip to Michigan with her when it would have been a good time to see them. Because, like I say, there aren't really any cities up there. And my mom lives like 5 miles outside of a small town. So it's like, yeah, you get out in the woods there. And yeah, there really is no light pollution. And one of the things that people who have gone up there visiting, have often remarked on is they have no concept of how dark it could get. Because people who were used to living always with the city lights.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I should probably include in my story.
Yeah, I grew up kind of out in the boonies, and when I went to college, yeah, in the Atlanta area, and I remember the first time, coming home for a weekend, being kind of gaining a fresh appreciation for how many stars you could see in the sky at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're not in the city.
Well, it was great up in Michigan too, especially like watching the meteor showers.
Yeah, my running joke about that was, it's kind of like in the movie Dances with Wolves, when Chief Running Bear keeps asking, Dunbar, about, okay, tell me about when the white men come. And finally, he keeps brushing off the question. And finally, he gives in and says, they're going to be like the stars. And if you live in the city, you think, oh, well, that's not so bad. There's, one over there and another one over there. And, but if you live in the country and oh, wow, they're all over. Can't get away from them.
Shoot. That reminded me of something, and now I've already lost it.
So I took that long telling the story, huh?
No, that's just how short my attention span is on 3 hours sleep.
Don't worry, it's just a squirrel.
Some days my attention span doesn't get to the end of the word span. Huh?
Yeah, it's like they gave me the testing and they said that I don't have ADHD, and it's like the more people I talk to who have ADHD, the harder I find to believe that I don't. So I think there may have been something wrong with that testing. And first of all, it's like, she put me in the room and started the test, and the first thing I had to do was shut off the lights because the damn fluorescent light was humming. She couldn't hear it, but to me it was just a constant annoyance. And that's an autistic thing.
Yeah, that's also consistent with ADD, depending on the flavor.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of overlap between being autistic and ADD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They knew I was autistic, but questioning whether or not I also had ADD.
It makes sense. I mean, a lot of people who are autistic also have ADD.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was growing up in the 70s, what we now call ADD or ADHD was just called hyperactivity.
Yep.
And my particular flavor of it wasn't all that hyperactive. So I think that's why I didn't get diagnosed until I was an adult.
Yeah, well, that's the same. I was growing up in the 70s also, and it's like, nobody there really had heard of autism yet.
Yeah, I think I think the most common term for it was just if you mental retardation. I don't want to use the R slur, but back in the day that was the technical
terminology
term
at the time.
Yeah. And I remember one of my fourth grade teachers talking to me about my own behavior and using the R word and asking me, you aren't, the R word, are you? And at the time, I didn't know what that word meant. So I was like, well, I don't know.
There are some contexts where it's still acceptable, but at any rate.
Yeah, that's when I was growing up, they just labeled me as a classic underachiever because they knew I was smart, but I couldn't get some of the work done. And, again, they wouldn't believe things like I could hear the lights, or that, with all the lights on some days, that was just too much for me to deal with. Just the room being that bright made it difficult for me to read.
Fluorescent lights are evil.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that the LEDs are replacing them, and they're kind of slowly getting phased out. But, especially with public buildings where they were so prevalent, they'll still be hanging around for decades, including most schools.
Yeah, with one of my stories, I've been thinking about updating how the school was set up to be a little bit more modern.
Yeah, well, Molly's son is also on the autistic spectrum, so it's like, yeah, he and I can relate on a lot of things, and it's like, yeah, I understand a lot of the problems he's having with school that, most people don't get, because it's the same kind of stuff that I was trying to deal with as a teenager. At least now they've got some understanding of it, so they've learned how to make a few accommodations. But like he stayed overnight here last weekend, and he had fallen behind in a lot of assignments, but staying here overnight in one day, he was able to get like a week's worth of homework done. Just because I've got an environment that is designed by and for an autistic. So like he could control the light level to whatever he was comfortable with, and didn't have all the distracting background noises. And it's like, yeah, for me, it's like sometimes I can't concentrate or I can't fall asleep just because I'm aware of the refrigerator cycling.
Yeah, my refrigerator sort of sounds like a TARDIS.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I've always been able to at least detect a lot of sounds nobody else can hear. And like when I'm trying to fall asleep, it's a real problem because if I pick up a new noise, there's no way I can fall asleep until I identify what it's from.
So Purple Mage, are both of y'all's refrigerators running?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna catch it either. It can just keep going. Anyway, this is something I've been doing. Is that's off my little speaker.
Yeah, white noise generator.
Yeah, this is actually actually what I have here is a combination of pink noise and brown noise. It's a little bit lower frequency than white noise.
Okay, I had not really heard those terms before. White noise doesn't really work for me. But yeah, usually to fall asleep, I need something, that has familiar voices.
Yeah, so I have actually a playlist set up. I have a little 2-minute song of a kind of a calm melody that plays while I'm trying to settle down into bed. And I have another one where it goes through a meditation for sleep, which I might cycle out and put something else in, and then it goes from that to a somebody just rambling off basic biology facts or whatever other thing I put in that runs for about 2-3 hours, and then it switches over to the low frequency sounds and sort of listen night while I'm in deep sleep.
Yeah, I have an overnight list that is just, YouTubers I follow that have calm voices. One of the great ones is a channel called One World. That she's a middle-aged woman, who talks about environmental concerns and endangered species, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
She just has such a wonderfully calming voice. It's like, yeah, if I could, I would hire her to read me to sleep at night.
Yeah. My go-to channel for that purpose would be Isaac Arthur.
Oh yeah. Yep, he's one of the ones on my list too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything set up in my bedroom to be able to play through YouTube or online stuff, and so that's the reason why I wanted to get the little speaker thing. I could download those stuff, put it on MP3, stick it on here, and just set it right next to my nightstand.
Well, that is the one thing that I have a cord running across the floor for. Is I've got a speaker cord that runs across my living room and into the bedroom, so that I can start a YouTube playlist on my computer and just listen to it in the bedroom at night.
That work.
Yep, I'm very old school, but I'm old school. I happen to have a 20-foot patch cord on hand. I also had an old set of speakers from an old computer, so actually those speakers are from the computer that my late fiance had when I first moved in with her. Oh. Okay. So Mommy says she got light sensitivity as a side effect from a medication.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Yep, that happens to me too sometimes. I've had some medications that make it even worse, and I've always had to get off of those because I'm light sensitive to begin with. Yeah, I am sure that I do have some OCD tendencies. There are some things that there really isn't any other explanation for, like why I have to, stab myself in the head with my glasses about 4 or 5 times before I can actually get them over my ears. I just gotta keep stabbing my forehead before I can slide them over my ears, and I don't know why. I'm fully aware of it, and I can't stop it. Yeah, Brian Stevens says he gets migraines.
That's nice. See.
Yep. Yeah, actually, Brian Stevens, I get that. My most common migraine, it feels like somebody has driven a spike through my left eyebrow and it's come out by my ear.
I get them in the back of my head first, and then they go around into the front.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I'm laid out.
Yeah, well, those are the days that I have to just sit in a dark room all day. I can't do anything because I just I can't deal with anything that anyone else considers a normal light level. I had one of those like a week ago that literally I had to sit with a blindfold on until the sun went down. So that's all I could do was just sit in my chair and listen to stuff because I just, even with the curtains drawn and everything, the light level was unbearable. Okay, Brian Stevens says, I have obsessive thought. I get busy and forget everything else. Yeah, that sounds like hyperfocus, which, again, is something that's common with people on the autistic spectrum. I don't know if you fall into that. So Mommy says she thinks there's a crossover with Tourette's OCD. There's definitely a crossover with autism and OCD. I am kind of surprised you're including Tourette's in this, but yeah, I also have Tourette's as well as the autism. Something I've come to wonder about is if there's a connection between Tourette's and Parkinson's. Because it seems that everybody I've talked to about Tourette's, had one of their parents or one of their uncles or something, at least one had Parkinson's. And that's my father was battling with Parkinson's when he died. So I do wonder if it's, something in the genetics that makes you prone to both of them or one or the other. But, I wonder if that's some connected genetic mutation. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I found his autobiography really interesting, and and realizing that some of the things that he's doing for Parkinson's, I was doing for the Tourette's. Like the last season of Spin City, you virtually never see his right hand because the twitches from the Parkinson's had got so bad that he's literally sitting on his hand most of the time.
Wow.
And I have to often do that I'll have like one limb acting up. So I will have to trap one of my feet in the furniture or sit on one of my hands. Otherwise, I'm, known to have major muscle group tics and do things like slam my fist out on the table so hard it knocks things off the table.
Yeah, I can see where that would, where you would want to keep that under control if you can.
Yeah, it's very disruptive when you have a group trying to have a discussion.
Yeah, my pet.
And unfortunately, that's like with the autism, if I'm trapped in a meeting that I can't leave, then that's cranking up the stress level, which cranks up the symptoms from the Tourette's. So I'm having more tics.
Oh boy.
So it's they kind of play off each other and, not good ways for being in social settings. It's also one of the reasons why I don't like to be on camera. I've got several reasons I don't like to be on camera, but, if I'm not on camera, I don't get self-conscious. I know nobody can see me, but I know if people that could see me, if they're watching me, I'll get more self-conscious, and that also will tend to make me tick more. So I'm glad that people here have been very tolerant, and don't mind when I'm having little vocal tics and talking to my cats and that. Yeah. I know that pretty much all of the mental issues I have could be traced back to dopamine levels, and that anything that increases my dopamine levels reduces the symptoms of everything. That I have less tics from the Tourette's, and I can think clearer, that I'm not having quite such of the problems of the autism thought process and that. And well, one of the things that increases dopamines is chocolate. And that's my late fiance actually, got to notice that. And it's like, if I was having a lot of tics, she'd just say, "Have you had chocolate today?"
Here, have a Snickers.
Yeah, so again, people thought it was a joke, but I said I took chocolate medicinally. That if I had a decent level of chocolate every day, then I was having fewer tics, and things were better under control. So like I say, anything that boosts my dopamine levels, which also is probably why I had such a high sex drive, because that was a good way to get a dopamine fix.
Yeah, that would do it.
So I guess it's kind of handy that Hershey bars break into the little squares.
Yep, that was my go-to. Yeah, was having a Hershey bar broken up into the little squares in a little bag. Wait, what? Swiss cheese is good for dopamines? I mean, I've always loved Swiss cheese, but I hadn't made that connection. Okay, so maybe that's one of the reasons I like it so much, that I hadn't consciously made the connection, but it was making me feel good. Now, is that unique to Swiss cheese, or would that be true of cheeses in general?
Don't know.
Yeah. Excuse me, because I'll melt cheddar cheese on damn near everything I cook. Okay, yeah, you said all cheeses, but some are much better than others.
Yeah, this has to do with the protein casein.
Okay,
I wonder how Gouda rates in that respect.
It's the casein that does it, huh? The casein is the part of dairy products that my brother has a very bad reaction to. That he has to avoid most dairy products. But like he can have goat or sheep cheese because they hardly have any of the casein in them, as opposed to cow's cheese. So again, that's that. Just because it's things in my direct family makes me wonder, if it's just a slight difference in the same thing of why he would be sensitive to it.
Oh, yes. Looking it up, at least according to the AI thing, it says Parmesan, cheddar, and Gruyere? Gruye with a little funny thing over Gruyere.
Gruyere.
Gruyere. Okay.
Yeah.
I would never have gotten that from the way it's spelled.
Yeah.
Well, that's French for you.
Yep. Okay, so they have more of the casein in those?
Yep. Apparently, that's what. At least that's what the what little Google's AI list says.
Okay.
One of the highest ones.
Yeah, because I love a really sharp cheddar, just as sharp as I can possibly get it. And basically, for cheddar, the sharpness pretty much is a direct result of how long it's been aged. So if I can get a cheddar that's been aged for like 4 years, oh, that's primo stuff. Of course, most of the stuff, the common brands you see in the grocery store, they're aged for 1 year at most.
Oh, non-fat yogurt is pretty high. It's on the list.
I used to eat a lot of yogurt. I got out of the habit. I don't know why.
Cottage cheese is, it looks like the highest. I'm not really big on cottage cheese myself.
Okay. Yeah, I used to eat yogurt for breakfast every morning.
So Purple, does cheddar cheese ever get so sharp that you can use it, that you can cut with it like a knife?
Yes, I'm searching for a cheddar cheese that is sharp enough to cut the knife with.
That's interesting. Goat cheese is this what is this in grams or
what's? Sorry, Samami. What's GPT?
Chat GPT?
Oh, okay.
No, actually, I find uses for it. Depends on how you use it.
Yeah.
And that wasn't. What I was looking at was the Google's AI, which I find it tends to be more error prone when you're looking at it through the all search thing, like I was doing, versus if you click on look at the dedicated AI mode.
So what does GPT stand for?
I forget what it stands for. But that's the reason why I was saying, according to the AI thing, so it's a grain of salt deal there.
Yep.
But I found another list here that lists amounts. Casein versus whey protein in comparison in dairy products for dairy allergies. I think this is in. I'm not really sure. I think this is in grams. I'm not really sure how much. But it has goat cheese listed on here. 1 ounce goat cheese, or I guess 28 grams says 5.3. Whatever measurement they're using here of casein in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would guess it probably is grams. Okay, well, it's 5.3 for the goat cheese. How much does it say it would be for regular cow cheese?
Regular cow cheese. Let's see, cheddar, that's 6.7. Blue cheese is 6. Brie is 5.9. So 5.3,
Okay, so
5.9.
yeah, not really a significant difference there in the goat cheese. Although I'm sure there are different variants of it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that was one of the things with driving back to Donna's or Slothgirl's hometown there.
Actually, I was looking at the wrong thing
in Wisconsin. Was that there's an Italian deli there that we used to always bring back a block of cheese from my brother. And that was part of the trip, was a pilgrimage to the Italian deli that her grandmother always used to go to.
Excuse me, no, it's 5. It's 5.19. I was looking at the wrong column.
Yeah,
for
because
goat cheese.
When Sloth Girl made her lasagna, it just wasn't right unless we got the Italian sausage from that particular deli. There was just something unique about the spices they used that any other kind of sausage just wasn't quite right for the lasagna.
Cheddar is 6.6. And Swiss is 7.45.
Okay, Brian Stevens says GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
Okay. That sounds about right.
And I absolutely love the Transformer toys. When it first came out, I taped it every day to watch it because I was, at school when it was on. And the one shortcoming to it is when I'm working with electronics and I'm trying to actually find a voltage transformer, it's really kind of hard to do an internet search on transformers now.
Oh, come on. It's just Megatron with tits.
Why not? He's been reconverted into several other things. Oh. Google's language learning model has its brain bunked by Google. They lowered its temperature setting to limit the computer waste and to waste less money. Yeah, that's actually a big issue with the AIs are how much power they consume and how much water is consumed cooling the systems. Yeah, they just don't look quite right. Of course, when transforming the original G1 Megatron, there is a point in the transformation where he has his huge cannon sticking out from between his legs.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Commander, didn't see you come in.
Hi, Commander.
Hello. Where? It's so cool.
Okay. Yeah, so Mommy's saying that the Chat GPT is keeping the stockholders happy, but they're restricting it to a limited response framework. It has very limited memory and hallucinates a lot now. Okay, I don't know. I haven't really, I try to just scroll past the AI part and get back to, the Google that I'm familiar with.
No, that's not Chat. That's not Chat GPT. It's a different AI.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
yeah,
you're talking about the Google AI also, so.
yeah. I was talking about the Google AI. Tsunami. He's talking about Chat GPT. It's a different thing there. Interesting enough, if I found, and switching to the AI mode on Google, well, it handles philosophy quite well.
Okay. So now Tsunami says that it's not going to reach sentience, but levels of agency. So I'm not sure how you define levels of agency, and are you saying about it actually becoming like environmentally self-aware?
Yeah. I do think a lot of the problems we have with AI is a responsibility issue. For the most part, we're not being responsible.
Yeah.
For instance, the energy costs. If we were a lot of it, we can switch over to renewable energies would be in it, would help resolve a lot of that with maybe dedicated systems to power them.
From what I understand, for one of its major servers, Google was actually directly involved in them building a new nuclear power station.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, that's, what really has become a big issue is the water usage, because apparently it has really been impacting, the drinking water supply in the communities around them.
That's from the cooling systems. I imagine we'd have to come up with a better cooling method.
Yeah, well, I've been wondering, they should be able to do a closed cycle cooling. That basically you have like antifreeze flowing through it, and then you have, like radiators on the outside of the building to dump the heat out.
I mean, like I said, we need to be much more responsible with how we have this set up.
Yeah.
And how we use it.
Yeah, well, and that's actually is one of the reasons I avoid using it, is because I'm aware of the environmental impact, and I don't think that what I would do with it really justifies the environmental impact. So I don't want to be contributing to that, for something that I really don't need that badly. Okay, I'll have to check out that video after the stream's over. Commander posted a Transformers toy video.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest problem I have seen with like the AI chatbots and that is just basically them not being able to connect what they're saying right now to what they said a couple of paragraphs back. That there isn't the kind of awareness that allows like a consistent flow.
And interestingly enough, with the whole vehicle thing here, with electric cars, as long as the electricity is coming from like a coal or oil or plant, that's actually even more so.
Yeah. Although where I live, it does happen that we've got a nuclear plant about 40 miles away.
So yeah, that'd be a different story.
Most of its power.
Yeah, that'd be a different story. That'd be more. That'd be clean. That'd make the electric car cleaner than.
Yeah.
But if the electric car is being powered by a coal or oil power plant, then that's actually dirtier than the gas powered car. Oddly enough.
Yeah, so mommy, I'm aware of it. Just the American lifestyle is not good for the environment, and I try to reduce mine as much as I can.
Yeah, we can just we can just switch to a wood shaving, sawdust toilet, and bury our shit, and then we can convert that into fertilizer. And
well, I am convinced that the recycling here is a hoax. That I am pretty sure that everything we put in the recycling bins winds up going to the garbage incinerator.
From what I've seen of how these things work, it's usually the smaller stuff that gets filtered out into an incinerator, with the larger pieces is getting recycled.
Yeah, I'm betting that they basically they take out the metal, they take out the steel and aluminum, and I think everything else just gets burned.
I don't think that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure that's where all the plastic goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they do some stuff with larger stuff, but I've seen some of these videos on how these facilities work.
I actually worked inside one of the plants that we were supposedly sorting the recycling, and that's part of what made me come to this conclusion.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the stuff that was supposed to have been sorted, like I say, it's like they would pick out the glass and metal, and then everything else seemed to be getting dumped together again. Because the plastic and the paper, there just wasn't any market for it. Nobody's willing to buy it.
There's something actually I noticed with Chat Jeep or with Grok, or the public responses and the responses when you go to like the dedicated thing where you're just talking to it's by itself will differ. The public responses tend to have more of a right-leaning bias to it.
Uh-huh. I thought they all had a right-leaning bias.
Mm-mm. In fact, somebody actually used the test run on the different AIs. This is about a year, well, not quite a year ago, but maybe about 6 months ago or something. But they found that most of the AIs actually have a left-leaning bias, whereas Grok was more centrist. But at any rate, those public responses that you get with Grok, where you hashtag Grok and you ask it a question and it'll respond, and those will differ from what you'll usually get if you go into the little side thing and click on Grok and then like a new chat and ask the same question. Actually, I can actually show that have a side-by-side comparison of that.
Yeah, mostly I just get annoyed at all the websites I go to, and especially things like the utility websites. That's like it immediately wants to pop up that thing about the chat box of can I help you, and it's like You can help me most by leaving me the fuck alone.
No, actually, it does try. It does more of a both sides thing with Grok, from what I've seen. Though, like I said, when it comes to the public responses, it tends to lean more or right. I also noticed when if you ask it questions on ice, it will usually get the answers wrong for some strange reason.
Not that anybody's putting their thumb on the scale or anything.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of leaning right, what do people think of Schumer negotiating a deal to end the government shutdown?
Oh, Cuck Schumer?
Yeah. Why didn't we get rid of him the first time that Trump was president? I don't understand, why they didn't get him out of that position 10 years ago.
Vote blue no matter who. I'm putting my thumbs up, by the way.
Yeah. And it's like, go ahead.
I have an idea here. Seeing as Marjorie Taylor Greene's been warring with Trump lately, she should join the Democrats, and then she'll be okay to vote for.
No, she won't.
Yeah, I don't trust her. I don't trust her as far as I can throw her.
She'll have a D next to her name though, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, in that case.
But if your kid comes home from school with the report card having a D next to their name, don't you tell them they got to work a lot harder? Well, it could be worse. We could get the puppy killer changing sides.
Oh, I'm sure she would change sides if she thought it was advantageous is to her.
Yeah, I'm sure she would sell out to whoever's the highest bidder. But hopefully we can just get her out of the Congress altogether. I haven't really looked lately as far as, what's the situation for the district she's running in.
There we are. How about a puppy palate cleanser? Oh, hold on. Turn the sound off just in case. There you are, a little puppy palate cleanser.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, puppy said, come on, play with me.
Cuddle. Pet me. There you go.
Yep.
Aw.
Sumami, maybe you just want a position, in Madami's cabinet. Yeah, the new mayor of New York City, and it's like, I know that the Democrats didn't want to back him because he was too socialist for them. But I do also wonder, how much of the opposition to him is really political and how much of it is because he's Muslim. So I am very surprised he got elected just because, those were both issues that people were having. But then again, everybody already knew how Giuliani would run the city, so.
Yeah.
Cuomo.
And what was the name of the guy who wore the raspberry beret?
I don't know.
I think he was the Republican candidate.
I'd like to have the specs on how they put this together.
Is that Lego?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what the top dome pieces were there, because I can't think of any Lego dome pieces that came in those colors. So they may have cheated. There actually now are a number of third parties who are basically producing knockoff Legos. And one of the things that they're kind of specializing in is, making parts that are identical to Lego and producing them in what Lego would be rare colors.
Let's see, this was posted by Lego Brick Bros and credited to Mighty Llama 2020.
Yep, and I have to say, I've never been a strict purist myself anyway. But what I'm seeing of some of these third-party Lego, I may wind up, ordering some of them. Mostly because, I've wanted to build some things, and the Lego Dark Purple only comes in a limited range of pieces. So for some of the things I want to build, it would be nice to get the pieces in either the purple or the burnt orange color. Because it's for a lot of that stuff, it's I have to just settle for gray. And, just one thing is the model would wind up being more gray than anything else. And the other thing is that Lego has 5 different colors of gray. So, even to get the parts to match to be uniformly the same shade of gray, some of the parts won't come that way. I was having an argument with somebody, and now I forget who it was, who was trying to tell me that Lincoln Logs were a much better toy than Lego.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, well, that was my response too, but they were trying to make a case for it. They did cite one thing I had to give them, that Lincoln Logs don't hurt as much when you step on them.
Yeah. Actually, I used Lego to help model one of my garden beds.
Oh, yeah. I've used Lego to prototype a bunch of things I've built over the years, especially prototyping furniture.
Yeah, and I also have a practical use for Lego here on my computer. The on switch has this blue light on it, and the way it's set up, it shines right in my eye.
Yeah.
So I set up this little tower with a cover made of Lego, so it covers that up.
Sammy, I love you, but you cannot use the trackball for a pillow. You're making things happen on the screen.
And also added a little for the stand part. I added a little holder for USBs.
Yeah, actually, one of the things I saw is a guy who organized his entire toolbox making dividers out of Lego.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about creating a stand out of Lego for my portable little USB drives.
Yeah. Well, when I saw the guy doing his toolbox out of Lego, it was kind of like, I did something similar at one time that I made dividers to hold game pieces, but watching him do the toolbox with them, I'm thinking that, hey, this may actually be a use for all of the random Mega Block that are always mixed in with the Lego I get from the thrift store. I don't want to use the real Lego for that, but use the stuff that I'm, picking out of it.
Yeah, and remember, your official Lego will have their logo somewhere on the brick.
Yep. Of course, the big shortcoming to doing like a toolbox with it is, still needing the big base plates to be the bottom of the drawers.
That's usually where I'll cheat. Have a really big base plate that's actually a knockoff, but it works.
Yeah. Well, that's something that I'm definitely looking at. Is there some place that I can kind of order the knockoff base plates, by the dozen? Because I would need quite a few of them. The real Lego base plates, I've got a stack of them there. And that was a project that Slothgirl and I were working on to bring to Con of the North. As I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Robo Rally board game. But basically, the Robo Rally game is it's a race that each player controls a robot running through this factory. And that they've got to grab flags in a certain order to win. So Slothgirl and I had been working on building our own boards out of Lego, and even adding some house rules, some new types of obstacles that aren't in the original game. Oh, L Trucker, hi.
Hallucinations from the road.
Yeah.
Oh, so L Trucker is actually an AI. Okay. Al A-L.
Yeah. We've had the scroll running with the GoFundMe link for Mom NATO to reimburse her the money she is still out from helping Lavender Lady move, and also trying to get her some extra to, help her with a few of her car payments since her car got totaled recently. So, yeah, we've had a few quite generous people that we've made a decent start of it. That so far, okay, we're up to $550. And basically this weekend I've been, sending out things to various people I know just to try and get that plugged on as many channels as possible this weekend, to try and get it out in front of as many eyes as possible. So, hopefully we can reach the $3,000 goal for her.
There's the link in the chat if you want to pin that. You know how to pin things?
L Trucker.
Go to the three dots that's next to the post, and it should say pin.
Yeah, I'm oh, okay. I was not seeing the well, nope. I clicked on the wrong thing. What did I click? I think I just timed you out. No, I timed you out. I put you in timeout. I'm sorry.
You banned me.
I banned you. Well,
Yeah.
see, yeah, it was moving as I clicked. How do I unban you? Shit. Yeah, that's a problem.
The notice I see in the chat says timed out for 300 seconds.
You have been placed in timeout by the owner of the video or moderator. Edit and try again.
Yeah, but then the notice that I see in the StreamYard chat says, Mage was banned and their comments were removed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be a way to reverse that. Yeah, see, that's the problem, that the scroll was moving as I clicked it. Let's see, people. No, that doesn't help.
Well, hi, Al Trucker. Plenty of times I've seen you on a stream. Finally, you get to see me on a stream, or hear me at any rate.
Well, let's see. Since it did say the 300 seconds, let's see if it lets you just come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll try it again later.
Yeah, I'm poking through everything in the StreamYard, and I don't see any place that it's got like a list of banned users or anything.
Go to Google's account block page. Where the hell that is.
Okay, I think that's like under YouTube Studio. If it banned you from my channel on YouTube. Crap. It's like I kind of knew where something like that was. And then YouTube went and moved everything around.
Yeah, that makes it. They had to make it easy for you.
Yep.
And if you're having trouble with it scrolling, then what you do is you scroll up slightly, and then it won't scroll.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll have to sort it out later. I'm not finding anything for it. Shit.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, try again in 5 minutes and see if you come back.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Brian says a blocked user cannot be unblocked for the particular stream they were blocked from. So I guess you're blocked until the end of the stream, and then you should be back the next time we start one. Okay. Okay, so
I posted in the chat, say it's just 300 seconds.
Yeah, either you'll be back in 5 minutes or you'll be back after we end the stream.
Well, in that case,
yeah, I was thinking of wrapping it up here soon anyway, because
there's the link to the GoFundMe in the private chat if you want to put it yourself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I could have pulled it from Mom Nato's message. Banners. There's the private chat. Okay. 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 Let's see if I wind up banning myself. Okay, there. That should have pinned it.
Yep, that pinned it.
I think the mistake I made is I tried to do it from the StreamYard chat instead of doing it from the YouTube chat. I think that's how I wound up banning you by accident there. Oh, the Pashakatup. Oh. We are professionals here. Do not try this at home. Right?
Yep.
You can see how professional I am with this. You know, and I mean, like, just by my subscriber count, you know, you must be able to see how good I am at streaming. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I was thinking of wrapping this up anyway. Unless somebody has another topic they want to cover here.
Nope, I actually would have to get up and walk Molly pretty soon anyway.
So I did want to give a little update on the Let Freedom Ring project.
Yep, I was going to ask you about that.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I've gotten a backing track from the Humanist guitarist, and it's been he's modified it to add like a couple beats of clap before the song starts.
Okay.
So the first person
can pick up the timing.
Yep. And I will be sending that out, with basic instructions and the lyrics for the whole verse with each person's particular part highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, there's 7 slots for singers, and I've got 7 singers, but I was hoping to have singers doubled up on a couple of those parts, but that kind of depends on the rounding up people that that we've been talking about. So do you have any updates on that front, Purple?
No, I don't, because I really haven't been able to give any attention to that lately. That's the last 2 weeks I've been kind of working on this fundraiser for Mom NATO and trying to, get help from that with people to put it on a lot of different channels.
Okay.
And also at the same time, I'm just beginning to gear up to, get people to volunteer for the Christmas marathon.
Okay.
Don't really expect anything from me until after the beginning of the new year.
Okay. Well, what I was kind of thinking about was at this point, just proceed with what we have so far, and basically consider that I've made a good faith effort at pulling in somebody who's transmasc.
Like I say, that's the only only people I really know that are trans mask at this point want to go stealth and not really be announcing it.
Yeah, and that's completely fair. And I don't want to. I don't want to put pressure on anybody, who wants to do that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm out of ideas for it. Sorry.
Okay, so I'll just I'll just reassign here and there, and I'll send you a revised list of who's getting what parts.
Yep. Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah, me too, Brian. There's a reason I'm not one of the singers.
I don't know why you want me as one of the singers. I mean,
Hey, I can't harmonize, but I can simultaneously sing in 4 different keys. Okay, so Mage, you're back.
Yep, I'm back.
Yep. Okay, so we just had to let the timer run out.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
sorry about that. I'm banning my co-host.
Yeah, that was always a good move.
Yeah.
Like I said before we started this, I probably won't be doing my show this weekend since I have to go up and help a friend out with their pets.
Yeah. Okay, so no Sunday show.
Yeah. No, I am still planning on doing the midnight show tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, before we came on the air, we were talking about what we might watch for that.
So that might be the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, I haven't seen Greg around today, so I don't know what he would vote for. And for those who don't know, Jenny is in hospital now. So they did find out that all the pain in her shoulder was being caused by an infection. So at least she has a diagnosis, and at least they're trying to treat it, but we don't know how long that's going to take.
Yeah, she's all messed up right now.
Yeah, just the level of pain has completely incapacitated her.
Yeah.
So I might not see her for a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully she recovers.
Well, at least we know she's somewhere that she's being cared for. She's not just, miserable lying alone at home.
Yeah.
Oh.
But hang on, let me get my Discord thing up. Get the link out for that. If anybody wants to join my Discord, I have the link I go to for the shows in the announcements. It's in that. So.
Yep. Yeah, so that's every Thursday night.
Yep, it's every Thursday night at midnight my time. It's Eastern time.
Yep.
Invite people. There it is.
Yeah, so usually we watch anime, but sometimes we watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Mage has also been able to get us some of the latest episodes of South Park, so we can see what Trump is raging about.
So you can just join my Discord there. I only have basically we don't really get into talking about politics or religion there, but pretty much anything else that goes. You have a nice little place you can chill your shit.
Yep.
And like I said, the announcement section has the link for where we go to and watch the shows on Thursday. Or if you happen to be in Purple's DM group on Twitter, you can get the link there too.
Brian Stevens said, just got a reminder it's a good idea to eat something. But you know, I would be careful of that. I mean, it seems that food is a very common addiction. I've talked to so many people now who seem to think that they need to eat every single day.
Multiple times a day.
Yeah, you know, that just sounds like that stuff's getting out of hand to me. Of course, again, people think it was a joke, but it was serious. It was Sloth Girl's job to make sure I didn't go consecutive days without eating. Because left on my own with nobody to check on me, I've been known to go 3 days at a time without eating. Of course, now I'm sure that Molly would not let me get away with that now.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, I don't really have anything particularly going on. Was going to set up a show for Saturday, but that also largely involved Jenny, so actually never got around to saying a definitive time. I will be on the Shills Pub Chat on Saturday, which will be starting 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. Central. You know, it's 4 p.m. Pacific because Dick Dawson, who runs the Shills, is way over on the Pacific Coast. So, you know, we're just trying to get together a bunch of the old Chills gang that, you know, had been on with Mom NATO. So would appreciate, you know, anybody's help that, you know, I know I don't want anybody to be donating if they don't have the money, but, you know, if you could just spread the link around so it's seen by more people. Hello, Porpoise.
We're just wrapping up.
Yeah.
Well, I had to take Athena to the vet.
Oh, dear. Is she
Oh,
okay?
no.
It was her yearly checkup and her rabies shot.
Oh, okay. So it was just a routine checkup.
She's not happy with me.
Well, no, of course not. You shoved her in the little carrier and took her over to have some strange people poking at her.
Well, at least they got rid of that vet tech that was very rough with her.
Oh, that's good.
The people they have there now are gentle with her.
Yeah, I have to schedule mine for their checkups too. Although I think that I can wait until January.
You know, apparently she's forgiven me, but she's not going to like that her food needs to be reduced.
Was the vet saying that she's a bit heavy?
Yeah, she's gained 2 pounds, so she needs to. It's okay, Athena. I need to diet too.
Yeah.
I've lost a little weight, but you were finishing up, and I got in when I could, so.
No, and you know, always appreciate you joining us. I mean, so did you have anything going on? Did you want to plug something you've got doing this weekend or anything?
Actually, the only thing I'm doing this weekend is going to see Paula Poundstone in Indianapolis.
Oh.
But if you want to follow my channels, which are currently not busy here, follow me at the Mad Computer Scientist at Mad Computer Scientist 1 here on YouTube. Someday I would like to go back to the Sinister Porpoise channel, which is at the Sinister Porpoise 1, but that will not be happening as long as I have my current job, as long as the state Republican legislature allows that.
Yeah.
Or I just say something that pisses someone off, which I would love to say I didn't do. You can follow me on Clapper at Mad Computer Scientist. And actually, I get over 3,000 followers and have hit their first step for verification, which hopefully they didn't like whatever I had for ID, so we'll have to do it again in a couple days. I think they just need my driver's license, though, for what I want to do.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching the clips that you send over. I have not made an account on Clapper.
They're just weird. That's okay. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not like I'm a professional comedian or anything.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
do you
remember-
think you could post the clips as shorts on YouTube, or was that still run into the problem with your students?
Yeah,
I
it runs
know
into the
some of
problem with my
jokes
students.
would, but yeah.
Oh, I could easily post them on YouTube, but a lot of them are jokes making fun of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Trump administration.
Yeah, so you'd rather not get into political views with your students.
Yeah, they tried to get me to talk about Charlie Kirk, and I'm like, no.
I saw a weird thing that apparently some churches were playing AI videos of Charlie Kirk during services. Like, yeah, I didn't get that. You're playing movies of a dead guy during the church service.
AI versions, huh?
Yeah.
And it's not even Jesus. All right, Athena, we're gonna fix your toy too.
Yep.
So it's not even the actual guy that they're playing the video of.
Yeah, it's not even like footage of his previous speaking engagements or anything. It's all AI generated. I guess because that's the only way they could find video of him that wasn't too controversial.
Yeah, I can see a few segments here and there where it's not too controversial, but
Sumami, I don't think that's why people go to church.
I don't know. Some of those crucifixes, have you seen the pecs on Jesus?
Yeah, but we all know those were made by gay men.
Yeah.
I wish I were. I'm not even. That's probably more true than I would think of.
Yeah. When you say it, I am definitely thinking about that. That the guys who are supposed to be celibate, were they just making something they could jack off to?
I'm sure. The thing is, I'm sure there are people in that type of life who are asexual, because that's got to be a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think part of the problem they have, with so many instances of priests behaving inappropriately, is I think that a lot of people who, are gay, but are also heavily Christian, and feel they have to suppress their gay attractions, that going into the church was one of the few ways they had of doing that. And I think that's probably less true in the modern day than it was previously, but
yeah, come join me on Clapper. Download the app. It's a little bit less obnoxious than TikTok.
Yeah, at least it doesn't repeat the damn thing over and over and over and over and over.
Oh, yes. Clapper does that.
Oh, it does?
On the app, not if you're...
Okay.
TikTok doesn't do that if you, just link to the videos either.
Yeah, it doesn't do that on the desktop when I'm looking at it through Chrome.
If you were to upload them to YouTube, I'd recommend uploading them as a regular video, even though you would fit as shorts, because YouTube actually takes more money out of the shorts.
Oh. I haven't really looked into the shorts. I didn't know. I was thinking that I might start, just doing some shorts for my channel, but, probably things more like, quick little historical notes, 1 minute history bites.
Yeah, those shorts are just scam garbage from YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like I ever thought I'd get any money from YouTube, so I'm still amazed that I have people who actually are subscribing to me on Patreon. So, which, I should again thank our Patreon supporters: Kitty the Atheist, Robert X, Greg Hartwick, Sandy Shore, Skitzcrasher, Regios, and Junie. And yeah, I really am surprised. I set up the Patreon page just so that nobody could use my name on there, because I had already had an instance of somebody taking my name and my avatar and entering streams trying to impersonate me.
Well, that's no fun.
Oh, it was horrible, because they got on the channel of a transgender creator and started trying to post porn to it. So, she knew that obviously wasn't me and shut it down right away. But, it just really sucks that somebody has been doing that kind of thing, that they're trying to take some known creators. Okay, so with that,
Actually, it kind of reminds me.
Oh, go ahead, Mage.
Yeah, I was watching somebody. He had posted an AI video with their voice. It was a YouTube creator.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead. Let's wrap this up.
There was a thing yesterday. That Trump actually took a satire story and reposted it.
Yeah, satire story of Obama.
Yeah.
Why can't we just 25th Amendment the guy?
No, the guy, they posted an AI video with himself in it and thought it was real.
Yeah, that's the one that blew me away. It's like, you didn't even remember.
Well, he's no longer President Donald Trump. He's president, and state your name.
Yeah.
He did. To be fair, he was being very loudly booed.
Okay, well, we thank you, everybody. And we will see you again same time next week. Yeah, I expect I'll be doing a stream over the weekend. I'm sorry that I'm not got things together enough to say what time. But at this point, probably Sunday afternoon, probably around a similar time to this. So with that, we will bid you all a good day, good night, good morning, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. Bye-bye, all.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Be yourself.
Be gay, do crime.